Welcome back to Grim Advice with Gretta Myers. You've entered the grimoire with 2 M's. Let's turn some pages. I don't know what this was. Actually, I think it's a 1-pager today. Let's look. It is. Okay. I don't have anything else to say, so without further ado, the Flail from Heaven. A countryman was once going out to plow with a pair of oxen. When he got to the field, both the animals' horns began to grow, and went on growing, and when he wanted to go home, they were so big that the oxen could not get through the gateway for them. By good luck, a butcher came by just then, and he delivered them over to him, and made the bargain in this way, that he should take the butcher a measure of turnip seed, and the butcher would seek out him out a Brabant thaler for every seed. I call that well sold. The peasant now went home and carried the measure of turnip seed to him on his back. On the way, however, he lost 1 seed out of the bag. The butcher paid him justly as agreed on, and if the peasant had not lost the seed, he would have had 1 thaler the more. In the meantime, when he went on his way back, the seed had grown into a tree which reached up to the sky. Then thought the peasant, as you have the chance, you must just see what the angels are doing up there above, and for once have them before your eyes. So he climbed up and saw that the angels above were threshing oats, and he looked on. While he was thus watching them, he observed that the tree on which he was standing was beginning to totter. He peeped down and saw that someone was just beginning to cut it down. If I were to fall down from here, it would be a bad thing, thought he, and in his necessity he did not know how to save himself better than by taking the chaff of the oats which lay there in heaps, and twisting a rope of it. He likewise snatched a hoe and a flail which were lying about in heaven, and let himself down by the rope. But he came down on the earth and exactly in the middle of a deep, deep hole, so it was a real piece of luck that he had brought down the hoe, for he hoed himself a flight of steps with it, and mounted up and took the flail with him as a token of his truth, so that no one could have any doubt of his story. Yeah, back to the idea I mentioned yesterday, that if you're going to do something cool like slay a hydra or 3 giants or look up into heaven, take some proof with you. Because as many as there are people who will believe you, who are good, cool people, there are people who won't believe you. There are people who believe a lot of things. Call it trusting, call it naive. But generally there are people who will believe and there are people who won't. There are people in the middle who's like, okay, show me either one way and we can be good. But a lot of people, yeah. So this is about the... Goodness. Those are about the 3 types of people in this world. That, yeah, they'll believe with very little to go off on. The people in the middle who's like, okay, show me, or they'll believe or they won't, and it takes a little nudging on everyone. And then there are people who it's going to take a lot to get them to believe. And, you know, all the ways are valid. You just gotta be careful and know what each one means and how to best handle that. Really don't know what was with the oxen at the beginning. But sometimes life be like that when we really just want something to make sense that has happened to us, and like everything else makes sense, but then just like, what was this? And we just don't know sometimes, and that's okay. Be cool and, give people their due and what should be promised them. As much as you're able. Be fair to yourself, be fair to others. I really don't know what else to say on this one. Alright, my gremlins. Thank you for joining us for another Happily Ever After, or not so Happily Ever After. That's up for you to decide. What you decide is valid. Because you're valid. You are. Either way, this is the end for this episode, so tune in later. We can learn more and turn new pages together.